we've been trying to get together with you for a while, and you're busy. Well, not as busy as you were because now you're not in real estate, but you have weekends now. See,
Right.
if you were still in real estate, you'd be gone already. But so some of the things that you've been able to do, a lot of people have questions about, and because you've been able to go from career to career, and basically you've been successful in every single one. Some more than others, but basically, it's just like you never changed jobs because you weren't making money.
Right.
You know, uh, but it's like so. I just kind of want to get a personal history here. Um, you know, you know, how did you find us? It's like, was that on that group or?
Yeah, it was a Facebook group for salespeople,
Nice.
and I had asked a question because I was having issues with some like an objection, and I put the objection in the group, and pretty much all the feedback I got was, in short, like bully through her, right?
Mhm.
I think it was like, I've never heard of your company before.
Oh,
I
wow.
need more information, yada yada yada. And then you had chimed in with of course she needs more information about your company, right? It's something along those lines. I'm like, oh yeah, like duh, she's making a financial decision.
Yeah.
She probably wants to know more about who we are. And then I just kind of began finding your responses on other things as well, and that's how I originally found you, was through that sales Facebook group, which I'm no longer part of.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm still there on that group. I mean, answers are always horrible.
Oh my God. It's
mean,
like always bully, 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 push, insult,
ignore,
demean. And
it's like
yeah.
it's like yesterday I was on there, and it's like I was a guy who actually just came into our group the other day. He's like, what do you do when they object to the price or ask about the price up front? And I'm like, tell them. Every other piece of advice was ignore, deflect, tell them I'll get to that in a moment after I justify my insane price. Everything that would trigger people to think that, hey, you're hiding something from me. And I did pretty much the same advice. Tell them. If you don't tell them, they're going to be thinking about it the whole time. They're not going to hear any of the words coming out of your mouth.
Yep.
And you're going to figure, wow, this guy's price is really high because he's hiding it from me. It was like it's the same. Most salespeople are sissies. Okay, they don't want an objection. They don't want to talk about the price. And they want some kind of snarky response. So
You're kind of the salesperson we want. You're like the non-salesperson salesperson.
Right.
You don't have the attitude. I mean, it's like you don't want to bully. You want to deal with clients in a great way, in an ethical way. Work for companies you believe in.
Right.
I mean, and not have that snarky attitude so many people end up getting. And I mean, that's like the goal. And that's a goal I think most of our clients have.
It was part of your
right?
mindset too. So
Exactly.
well, you were first. Let's see. You first found out. So you were doing insurance way back then, right?
I was. Yep.
Hammering the
I'm
phone.
sorry. Insurance is a hard one sometimes.
Yeah. Hammering those phones.
So and doing kind of average at that at the time.
It was okay. Yeah, average.
You weren't killing it.
I was not killing it. Not killing it. There's nothing was being killed.
I remember those days.
I know. So you got in the members area. You came to a seminar. Then you took the big step of getting coached. How painful was that?
Not as painful as you want to make it, but going to the seminar was awesome because it actually opened up my eyes. Like, oh shit, like this actually works really well. But I just needed some more like one-on-one coaching, and when I remember actually the most painful part was watching myself, because you had me record sales calls, and watching myself on those sales calls. I hope all evidence of that has been deleted, because
I was just thinking maybe we have those somewhere.
No, I am fairly
Tom is very bad at deleting stuff, Dylan. I hate to tell you.
50 chance.
It's somewhere.
So
It's not
have you
good.
worn the sweater again? I mean, still.
No. No.
He's in Florida. He doesn't need to wear sweaters
I mean,
anymore.
so, like,
Now
you know,
do sweaters.
so we're going through this sales call. We put it up like on the TV, and we get it like 5 seconds in, and we stop the tape. We say something to Dylan, and it's like, then we go like another 15 seconds, and we stop. We say, no, this is just, we didn't even get a minute in before you said, please stop.
Stop it.
Just stop. I can't watch this anymore. And the first 60 seconds of my sales call is just disastrous. And then the sweater became just like, this feels bad. I'm not wearing the sweater ever again.
It was an ultimate negative anchor for me.
Hope you didn't like it that much.
Yeah,
It was a gift from Linda.
Oh,
that's okay.
well,
That's why you moved to
you're still
Florida.
married to her. It's okay.
Still married. Still married.
So, but before you came to us, you actually had you tried other sales trainings or
Yeah.
looked into other things?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
were we different?
Oh, where to start?
Oh, wow.
So I'll go with my experience with other sales trainings. It was, at least my experience with other sales trainings, it was always like it felt like a gimmick. You know, maybe not get rich quick, but if you do, you know, like this, you know, all like everything is just gonna be magically better.
Yeah.
So I guess the magic bullet, right, type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, well, like, you know, if you get this program, like, well, it has a lot, but you have to get this. And I said, nope, it has a lot. And like, just basically, it was a money grab.
Mhm.
My experience with a lot of other sales training was just a money grab. I spent a lot of money and lost a lot of money.
Wow.
Now, what was the second question? What was my experience with you guys? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
yeah. So how are we different
Yeah.
from that?
How are you different? Yeah. So, I'd say it's almost like you meet your students where they are, find out where they want to go, and tailor it to help them get there.
Yep.
Right? Because everyone's different with where it is that they are, and everyone's different with where it is that they want to go. Say, okay,
Right.
well, if you want to go here, you need to do this, 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 and this, right? And even if it's just like a next step type thing, it's like, well, you know, first we have to go here, and then it's boom, 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 right?
Yep.
And then once you do that, and then next thing you know, you're meeting or surpassing your goals and what it is that you wanted.
Nice.
And it's, you know, yeah, we joke, we have a lot of fun, especially at my expense in those early times, but it's well worth it. It was well worth it, and it's just a whole lot of fun throughout the entire time. It really is. It really
It has to be fun
is.
for us. And
No.
Yeah.
Well, you can handle it. You're in on. I mean, if someone's more sensitive, there's no way we would. You
Well, of
know,
course.
we're
I've got
not.
thick skin. I've got thick
But
skin.
you do have
we
thick skin,
occasionally
yeah.
get one of those. So, fast forward, you went from insurance, you went to real estate, you know, and now, you know, you're selling windows and construction stuff.
Hmm. Why all the changes? I mean, what spurred? I mean, so.
Yeah. So I went from insurance to real estate because I didn't like being cooped up in an office.
Mhm.
I was like, all right, I just want to get out and meet people now. So
Nice.
I got into real estate and was successful right off the jump there.
Wow.
My entire time in real estate, I was successful. But then it got to a point to where I just didn't have time, you know.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
with my family, you know, because I was always on calls or always out, you know, doing deals, which is a great problem to have.
Yeah, I can.
I have a who had worked for this particular remodeling company for many years, and has always told me
Mhm.
how much he loved it. You know how great they treated the customer, how great they treated
Mhm.
the employees. Just an awesome atmosphere, great culture. Just it was a place where you really enjoyed being there.
Nice.
And they had an office here locally in Florida. And I thought, well, you know, let me give it a go. Let me see what's going on.
Awesome.
And it's been fantastic.
Wow. So you get to choose for your lifestyle.
Right.
That's amazing.
So
Yeah.
let me ask, because a lot of people would be scared to do that.
Yeah.
They would like, I have this really successful career. I've got a mortgage. You've got kids.
Yeah.
You know, which you obviously don't care about because you keep changing jobs. No, I mean, it's like, no, it's like, no, not, I'm not editing that out. No.
Yeah, that's all right.
But it's like, so how did you, I mean, you know, because it's, you know, part of, I think, what this does is give you the freedom to
Mhm.
make these kind of choices without being terrified.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. You just have that confidence in knowing, and even if if there is like some sort of uncertainty, I know I've done it in the past, right?
Right.
It's like, okay, I've done it twice now in the past. I know the blueprint, on how to be successful in this next foray. And if there is anything going up in here in my mind space, it's like, okay, quick 3D mind, figure that out. And then,
Nice.
what do I need to do to be successful here? Get it done.
So and then now you're what, 1 month into your first selling for this new company?
Yes.
So
Yep.
how have you done? To share as much as you feel comfortable with, but how have you done?
Really well. Really, really well.
Nice.
Yeah, really well. I've sold volume wise. Some the last couple deals haven't gone through like the financing approval yet. But pushing $280,000 in windows in 1 month. Less than a month.
For your first month?
For my very first month.
And what does the average sales guy do there?
If they can do like 100,000, 120,000,
wow,
good. That's like, you're making good money. So yeah, it's great.
So they love you there, right?
They want to keep me around. They actually had, there's a new sales class coming up, and they had one of the guys in the sales class shadow me yesterday, so that he can see how it's done the right way. And we ended up, and we sold. We sold the deal.
nice.
Yeah, sold the window.
Wow.
It's always good to have the guy shadowing you when you're, shouting on a day you are a success.
I was like, let's hope this works.
It's like winning, yes. Cool. So now, it kind of catches you up to where you are now. So, so you're probably gonna stay with this company for a while. I mean,
Nice.
do they make you work weekends or just occasionally, or?
Sundays are volunteer only. So you want to work a Sunday. Saturday, yes, but it's just a morning appointment. That's it. And it's not even like guaranteed that there's going to be an appointment available for you on the Saturday. So it's, you have that flexibility where, you can, Sundays are yours. You get a day off during the week, and Saturdays, maybe you'll have an appointment. It just really depends on what's available.
That's pretty good time off.
It is.
You talked a couple of weeks ago. You told me one thing, that the deals you're selling now, that most of them you're not really discounting the price at all.
That's correct. Yeah, the majority of them, they take the price at the ceiling, which is great. Which is absolutely great. Yeah.
That's one of the things that, because most people, especially in that business, it's like they start here and then they slowly let the customer beat themselves down to, their minimum, what they're able to do.
Right.
Okay. Right. And you're not even getting resistance.
Yeah, most of the time I'm not. Full, transparency. There's times where just someone that cannot afford, just because what their income is, right? And so, but they still want the windows, and so you find a solution that fits within their budget that works for them, so that they're not, strapped trying to make window payments. Like, no, what works for you, and get that done. But I'd say the vast majority of the sales are at ceiling. Yeah.
I mean, I love that attitude, though, is a lot of salespeople believe that they've just got to hammer people into the most expensive option they can get, and they don't really think about the customer being strapped, or the customer, not being able to afford it, or you can't get your Fruity Pebbles, you have to get everything like in generic. I mean, it's like they don't think about that kind of stuff.
Nothing wrong with generic. Come on.
There's a difference.
There's not a difference.
There is a
They made the same place. But yeah, so you're able to take it into consideration the needs of your clients, what works for them, and I'm sure. And tell me this: you're the kind of guy who, if it wasn't a good fit, if it wasn't what they needed, you'd probably walk away, right? I mean, and this gives you the freedom not to sell something to somebody they don't need, right? And to be the guy who builds relationship with clients, and chooses a company you believe in that does a good job.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a byproduct of being successful.
Exactly. It gives you that freedom to.
You can walk from away. It's like you can't, you can afford Fruity Pebbles, so you don't have to worry about selling the next. I need to hammer this in. I need my Fruity Pebbles. I don't know why I'm stuck on Fruity Pebbles. I have absolutely no idea where that came from. All right, so.
But yeah, no, it's just from a I had a couple of days ago to kind of reinforce that. I met with a woman. She just wanted an estimate on a door, right? Her door, older door, from probably like the 70s, right? Solid wood door here in Florida.
Oh wow.
It was covered, so there was some damage, but it wasn't too bad, And she also, financially was a little shaky. She was sharing with me, and so I just went through the whole door presentation. She told me what was going on with her life, and it just her replacing that front door with what we offer wasn't a good fit at that time. It just wasn't right. She loved the door. She's like, when I'm ready to get a door and like some of these things change my life, like I want to give you a call and get that done.
Yeah.
But just like, where she was, it just really wasn't a fit. So, just gave her the presentation so she had that information and, left as friends.
Nice.
Cool. So one of the other things that people want to know is that you seem to be able to learn things when they're hammering, trying to get something to work, and you're just going out there and succeeding doing it. So, it's like when you first came to us and we're talking about, anchoring and rapport and all this positioning, all these kinds of stuff. We were doing it in a way that was probably not very familiar to you.
That's right.
I mean, so when you ran into that, it's like, how do you just like let go and follow and just do stuff and get results when other people are just not getting it?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing with that is with mindset, almost having to have the mindset of, the best way I can think of it is like whenever I come to a seminar or learn something for the first time, it's like, okay, like let's see how this works, right? And so like I just trust, right? Like whatever it is, like you're like, especially if I'm paying for information at a seminar, or like if I'm learning something like at work, like I trust that you know what you're doing, right? And I'm here to learn. I'm just going to do what you tell me to do, right? I'm just going to do it. And I think that's really it. Just like being open-minded, and being okay with like maybe being uncomfortable at first, where like it can be different because it is totally different. But then just doing it, as strange as that sounds, like, and maybe that's not too much insight, but just, hey, all right, this is it. This is how it needs to be done. Let me just try and see if this works. Let me just try it.
That sounds exactly, like what I'll do in anything I learn, right? So no, it sounds perfect. And the thing is, it's like, I think a lot of people can't do that because they get so caught up on what if it doesn't work, and how I recover. And I don't think you get caught up on that, right?
No. So if things like don't work, it's just like, all right, well, that didn't work.
Especially, something like anchoring, which is kind of a mildly, it's, scientifically logical and all of that kind of stuff. But when you go out into the world and start using it, it's like, this did not work.
There's a learning curve.
And you don't have that. It's like you keep your process is very clean and simple, and I think it's going to surprise people. Okay, because they're looking for like the magic pill.
Yeah.
Like, what's going to do it? What's doing that I'm not doing? And the reality is that you're just not doing a bunch of things that they're doing, like overthinking, worrying about whether it works. Right? You just that's what's funny, because even when we're coaching, and it's like, Dylan, go do this, and it's like, okay, that was like it. It was like it was it.
That's the best attitude to have.
Okay, it's like, I'm paying you. I'm going to do what you say. Okay. And if it doesn't work, I'll come back and tell you about it. But, luckily for us, that did never happen.
And then in learning too. True. But, and then when you're learning to do something, I'm sure there are times when you go, wow, I didn't do it right or whatever, or it didn't work not because it's because you have a learning curve. How do you deal with that kind of stuff?
Yeah. I'll just kind of take a step back, maybe at the end of the day, or like when I'm done, like, and evaluate what I did or what I didn't do, see what I can do maybe a little bit better, how I can handle something differently. So it's just, I think something that's very important, is through all of this is to have grace with yourself. If you
Mhm.
can't have grace with yourself, you're just gonna really judge yourself and hate yourself.
Right.
If you give yourself permission to fail, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, like it's okay to fail,
You
totally
have to fail.
that you gotta fail. And then
Yeah.
it's like once it's like okay to fail, then when you do make mistakes or you don't like reach that goal, whatever, it's like, okay, well, what happened? And then
Yeah.
you can kind of find fine tune it, tweak it, and next time good.
Yes.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
evaluate, but not judgy, not feeling bad, not all those mindset issues so many people have.
Right.
And you can learn from it and move forward with it. And that's, I mean, I think that's a hard part for a lot of people
Sure.
is that mindset. And you also would use, if you had any problem with that, use the 3D mind and clean up your mindset, keep moving forward. Okay. Perfect.
So
Yep.
That's amazing.
one of the other things that I think you do really, really well is you take criticism, okay, and you don't fall apart. Well, not often, except when we're laughing.
Outside I'm fine, inside
I'm dying inside, man.
But it's like, when you get, for instance, when you get corrected, how do you take it?
It's just again like okay.
Mhm.
It's like there's no
really-
emotion attached to it. It's
There's
like, oh,
really, really like no emotion attached
Yeah.
to that. It's just fine, like noted. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it. Noted. Maybe I won't do that again.
or maybe I won't tell them about it next time I do.
It's funny as a teacher. It's like you sit there and you have to take into consideration how people are going to take correction, right? And then you have to kind of alter it so they can take it. And because I used to not be as open about that because, but the clients don't pay you to lie to them.
No.
Right? They want to know what's going on, or else
Some
they're
of
not
them
going
do,
to do well, or else they're not going to do better. And I've watched other instructors I've had, and I sometimes have to force them to correct me because they feel bad correcting me because people don't take it well. And it's like one of those things that if you're not corrected, you're not going to learn and you're not going to move forward. And we owe that to our clients to do that in a way where they can handle it and be successful.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, and we kid around, but we were never mean to you, right, Dylan?
No, never mean.
But it's funny.
Lots
It's
of
like,
jokes,
Yes,
like
lots of
you were
jokes.
like, almost the ideal coaching client. I mean, because we get people, you never did something really interesting. You never once defended what you were doing when we told you it was wrong.
True.
You never once said, no, you don't understand. This is why I do that. And it's like, because if you had, I would have just said, I don't care. But it's funny the way you take direction. You don't justify it. It's because of this. It's because of that. Oh, in my childhood, oh my God, I just want to shoot myself in the head. All these things happen, and this is why I do it now. I just don't care. It's like, when we take on clients, if they have that kind of mentality, they don't get in. We just don't want them.
Right.
I'm not. I'm not.
Well,
I don't need to argue with people.
that's not true. We have lots of clients who do that.
Well,
but
to a certain level, if they're just defensive.
We slowly guide them to being able. I mean, that's another mindset problem, right? I mean, we guide them to being able to stop where they need to stop and to accept the issues and explain to them why that doesn't work and gently guide them and help their mindset to be able to handle that and get right on track, because we all fail. If we don't, if you tell me you're not failing, I don't think you're learning, right?
Well, you're not trying.
You're not trying. I mean, and when you start learning something new, I mean, tell me if it's this your experience, Dylan. When I start learning, especially if I have already been doing something, right? Because you'd already been selling and taking a lot of sales trainings. If I'm learning if I've already done something and I'm setting a pattern and I know how to do it, kinda, right? I'm having some success. And if you tell me I'm doing it wrong and I have to do it a completely different way, it's actually harder than learning from the beginning.
Right.
And I have to fight that and come back. And so it's really hard to sit and fail miserably when you're already pretty good at something and learning to do it a completely different way.
Right.
Does that make sense to you? I mean, but it's a huge mindset issue because it's like I might be failing now, but this is going to make me so much better in the end. And I think that's what this kind of was, because it's really different from other sales techniques.
Mhm.
So,
Well,
other than you did well really quickly and all of that stuff.
well, the
You
other
know.
thing is, you know, and tell me if I'm wrong, you know, this has affected all parts of your life, not just sales.
Right.
Okay. It's like, this is not a technique. It's kind of a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And it's, you know, you don't go out there and try to, like, you know, well, we do, but I mean, anchor everybody, because we just do, because it's just what we do.
How's it
I mean, it's
affect
like when you go out in the world, you're probably anchoring people all the time, whether you're going to use it or not.
Mhm.
All the time. Everybody gets anchored. You know, it's funny. We just bought a car. We just bought a brand new 2024 Kia Telluride.
Nice.
You know, blessed enough, bought it cash, and we went to the dealership. We got it 11% off the sticker price and below the MSRP. And yeah, it was great. It was
So you
great.
anchored the
And
sales guy.
what's that?
You-
Yeah. And sales guy, and I knew that when we walked in, off to the right, I just had a funny feeling that the guy was the finance manager or like the sales manager, just because he
Mhm.
kind of had that aura to him. And I just kind of looked at him. I was like, "Hey, how are you today?" He looked up, he smiled, and
See, you know, you're the one who does that, right? So many people just will not flash anchor.
Mhm.
It is fantastic, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Thanks, Scott.
It is the best technique ever because it's so fast.
Mhm. And it's one of those things that, you know, it costs nothing. You're not going to get caught. It fits really seamlessly into normal conversation, which is, I mean, everything we teach, I think, goes seamlessly into normal conversation. I mean, you have a script that you use that the company gave you to sell the stuff, right? And
Yeah.
you're pretty much following it, but then using this stuff with it and getting more success than the other people.
I follow the script to the T. So the our VP, you know, is great at sales, sell all these company records, yada yada yada. But you know, he's also another. You know, what I'm learning, like say, okay, if it's good enough for him, it's gonna be good enough for me. So I just follow it to a T. But yeah, I put anchoring in
Mhm.
everywhere with this. And I can like at the very end, you know, when I'm talking about the window and I'm talking about this benefit, stacking everything. And I bring it down. It's like, do you see how this window matches with what you're looking for? They're like, yes.
Nice.
So I mean, that brings us to like the next thing. So how has like, okay, I'm going to kind of go through it, but we'll start with anchoring. But how has anchoring changed the results that you got?
You know, it just gives me the results I want. That's really it. That's it. Like, you know, is it like, do I sell every time? No, I don't sell every single time, because sometimes it's just like, it's just not, you know, the person I'm meeting with, it is what it is. But more often than not, I, you know, I'm successful with it. Right. And
Nice.
it can be,
Mhm.
it could be for work. It could be just for like having positive interactions with people, making people feel good about themselves. Which is
Nice.
great, you know, because
That is great.
you always want to make other people feel important. At the end of the day, it's
Mhm.
like, because people always want to feel important. You want to make them feel important because they are. And but no, anchoring has just been, it just makes life easier. At the end of the day, it just makes life easier.
Nice.
You know, it really, you know, because and the way you're using it, it's like you have the integrity. You're not forcing people. You're not tricking
Mhm.
people. You're just saying boom, 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 and all of these things that you list really do fit their
Mhm.
criteria. So that when you go
Absolutely.
to boom, you know, next step, hey, let's go ahead and, you know, they're like, yes, yes, of course, this feels great.
Absolutely. You know, so yesterday's sale, we were coming back into the house after dropping something off, and it was a husband, a wife, and their granddaughter. The granddaughter lives with them. She's like 10 or 12 years old, and they
Mm-hmm.
live in not like the best area,
Oh.
maybe a little sketchy. And we overheard the grandmother talking to her granddaughter, the 12-year-old, that she won't have to worry anymore about people breaking into her room, because our
Wow.
windows are just so strong and secure. They're fantastic. And
Wow.
like she, like, it was exactly what they needed. Exactly what they needed. You know, at a price point that they love. They're like, this is great. You know, fit their price. You know, it matched up everything that they were looking for, and they showed me
Wow.
the windows that they had, and They had rigged up locking mechanisms on their current windows.
Oh, that's not
just
good.
Not good. Not good. So it really was the perfect fit for them. And
Nice.
just hearing them talk about that, they didn't know we were there. It makes you feel so good in what it is that you do.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Well,
gonna say that must feel wonderful to,
It does.
help them like that.
I'm
Yep.
noticing something because you said this several times. It's kind of like a sidebar, but you are aware of things going on around you when you go into these situations. You are
Mhm.
not in your head. That's why you could notice the sales manners. That's why you could listen to what the grandmother was saying to the daughter. That you're
Yeah.
not so focused on what you're going to say next. That you're able to like kind of scan the environment and see what's going on there, and then make what you do fit what's going on in that environment.
Right. No, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
the other thing is you're using basically all good anchors.
Yes, I use mostly good anchors. I'll
Mm.
use some negative anchors, because typically like they'll tell me what they don't like with their
Right.
windows. That is something like, I'll ask them, like, what's something that you like? Like, well, I'll tell you what I don't like. And then just go down the whole list of what they don't like. Like, okay. And so, I'll use like some negative anchors, but it's mostly good. It's mostly
Right.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, and negative anchors to me is just it's kind of like a little nudge. It's like don't go there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put a little like stink on that, and you're gonna avoid it.
And you set it just in case you need it, but you don't necessarily
Yeah.
even need it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
To use it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
So the next goal is the rapport stuff. You are a fairly likable human being anyway. I mean, judging by your wedding, you had many friends. All right. But it's like equal friend is great when you're social, but when at some point you have to go mildly, hey, take action.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
has that changed what you do and the results that you get, learning the positioning and the rapport the way we do it?
Yeah, learning positioning and rapport is actually it's been huge. It's been huge
Okay.
because there are times, yeah, like when I always try to make a friend when I go out on these appointments, like earnestly, make a new friend. But there are times where, when I'm at home and it takes more than just like friend talk to really point things out that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so by using the positioning and the rapport skills from you guys, it makes it so seamless. So when I need to
Right.
change that positioning, the one I use is a concerned teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I
Yep.
like that.
in my mindset, like a concerned teacher is someone that like has your best interest at heart, right? And they want the best out of you, and that they're concerned with what's going on in your life, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
that's really like how I try to portray it as a concerned teacher.
Yeah.
When I'm showing issues that they currently have, whether they know about the issues or not, and what could by them not doing anything, what it's going to lead to.
Right.
Oh, cool. 'Cause I mean, that kind of connection that you get, I mean, they feel better,
Right.
and it's
Right.
like rapport, it's different than the old, let me be your friend. We're just alike, kind of rapport methods.
Push, push, push.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Eh,
and I like read those books, and I've like done those other like sales techniques and things like that, and it's just at the end of the day, just felt like you're pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Spinning my wheels and pushing. Yep.
And
Right,
it
so
and think of, with the rapport position, we talked about positioning, but I mean, it's great to be able to switch in different sections between different positions
Right.
to get your outcome. So I think most people stay in one position the whole time they're doing something, or just go really dominant in a point. And it makes you so flexible and, like you said, seamless to be able to switch between. So throughout the
the last thing I want to talk about is the 3D mind.
Sure.
How has that changed how you do things?
It's changed
I mean, you
everything.
say,
It has changed everything. Yeah. So, work, in work, I'll typically do 3D mind before every single appointment. And
oh
that's just to
wow,
focus on, either work stuff in my head or maybe personal stuff. I'll do 3D mind if like there's just like something that's like stuck in my head, and like logically I'm like this isn't a big deal, but it is
yeah.
in my head. So
Isn't that
it's like,
how it
all
is?
right, let me work on that. It was pretty interesting. Yesterday I showed up to the appointment early, and I'm like, all right, what can I work on here? And I couldn't think of anything. Like there was really just like nothing was going on work wise in my head, nothing like personal wise, like, and
Mhm.
it was just almost felt like neutral, like how I feel like after a 3D mind. I was like, well, shit, I'm not gonna like really search for a problem, actively give myself a phobia before I walk in here. I was like, I guess I'll just wait for my shadow. I'll wait for the guy that's shadowing me, and
That's
we'll walk
awesome.
on in and do the thing. But no, 3D mind has been fantastic. It really in pretty much every aspect of my life. Yeah.
It's been we use it ourselves,
Yeah.
all the time. It's like as you grow, new problems crop up, try new things, new
Mhm.
problems crop up, and you just keep working through them and moving forward, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
no, it's like so when you I'm gonna ask this because people aren't gonna believe it. So when you do the 3D mind, how long does it take?
Start to finish. I don't know, maybe a minute and a half, two
mhm.
minutes. Because my drivers, my positive drivers are very similar. It's like it's something my kids have done that day for the most part,
Oh,
Mhm.
yep.
and it's always like something new. And like
Yes.
everyone like, okay, cool, boom, boom, boom. So I have my positive drivers like, pretty good. But yeah, I don't know, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, max.
I know,
Mhm.
and that's the amazing part
Yeah.
of the 3D mind is like
Yeah.
you even if you go in and you like you said, something's in your head, something's a little bit off, and in a minute and a half, you can like
Mhm.
boom, change your attitude,
Yep.
Yep.
okay, get a nice clean slate, and go do what you need to do.
Yep.
Because you gotta think about it. It's like in your personal life, things happen.
Yep.
It's the important part is not being an isolated skill.
Right.
I mean, even just things happen in relationships, everything happens 3D mind. Boom. You know, everybody has some little bump in the road at least once a day.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people that have major, problems or very high
Mhm.
anxiety and stuff like that. And of course, that takes a little bit longer to
Yep.
ferret out, you know, what
Every,
needs to change.
every once in a while, I have to dig for a change.
Yeah. But it's like, but actually doing the work of the
Mhm.
process, like a minute,
Yep.
maybe.
It's
It's
fast.
taking a minute. It's a long time. It's like,
Yeah.
especially the next thing I'm working, it's like, people when people get objections, salespeople tend to like that's like their kryptonite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
It's time
funny
to
you said
fight,
that.
usually.
It's funny you said that. So like my first many sales, there's no objections whatsoever. And in the back of my head, I was like, shit, how am I gonna react when I get an objection? And so that was like that was what I worked on before appointments. And I'd be like, all right, what happens if they say no? This, all right, like, if they tell me no, it's gonna be like this feeling and like, all right,
Mhm.
am I positive, like drivers here? And then I replay it in my head afterwards, like when they say no, it's not gonna work. And like, okay, well, all right.
I know
All
it's
right.
funny because, and I know this doesn't happen to you. When I talk to a lot of
Right.
the sales guys, they go through their presentation, and as they get closer to the close, which you don't really have a close, you just go, okay, let's go. And
This is our price.
Yeah.
yeah,
This is
but
it.
most people, like, you could tell sales guys, they have a higher level of anxiety the closer they get to
Yeah.
wherever their big close is, which
Mhm.
usually they like wait, the big price or this or when they're gonna put pressure or give that special one time deal if we sign you up today or stuff like that. Okay, and I think that really affects the customer. I think the customer can feel that
Yeah.
as it goes through the presentation that, they to talk faster, to do this and do that. And, doing
They
the
go in
3D
their
mind
head.
stuff like that, it allows you to kind of stay even
Hmm.
all the way through.
Right. If you can do the 3D mind on price, and like what different levels of price are, when you laying out the price, it just
Hmm.
it just is what it is, right?
Right.
There's no,
Hmm.
like is maybe unfortunately coming from real estate, like especially like in the DC area where I'm selling these, multi-million dollar homes, and like just that's just a number, right? It's just a number. And when I'm laying down a
Hmm.
price for like $50,000 worth of windows, that's just the number. You know,
Mhm.
Okay.
at the end of the day, they have what, like 27 windows. They've got 2 French doors. They have all this. Yeah, it's going to be $50,000. Like
Yeah,
that's just
Mhm.
the
not
number.
cheap.
And yeah, just lay it out. That
Yep.
is, and I remember I laid it out. It was like, it was 48,000 for 20 some windows, because they're all the hurricane impact, and they had a
Mhm.
Right.
big windows, different funky sizes, things like that. And told him, like, hey, I'm sure this is something you need to think about. Much easier to do without me here. I'm just gonna be outside. I'm gonna call my wife. Yeah, they came out like 5 minutes later or so, maybe 10 minutes, and they're like, all right, let's go. You know,
Nice.
um,
It's funny.
yeah,
Your big closes. I'm gonna go out and talk to my wife.
I'm gonna go outside. Just flick the light or grab me when you're ready. And yeah,
So, well, let's go back to objections for 1 second, just because I
okay,
mean the mindset's important, right, and everything, and and also having a structure of what to do when there's an objection must be very helpful. I mean, because
right,
I always look at mindset things in sales this way. Um, a lot of times people have trouble with mindset, partially because they're just scared to death of that, whatever that is, but also because a lot of times they don't have a strategy and a structure for what to do afterward. So we really like to try to give people, instead of just the blowing smoke, and like, oh, it's going to go fine. And here's what you do when this happens, and here's what you do, and a strategy behind that.
Mhm.
right. So there's
So,
actually a video you guys have, and I think it's the mental rehearsal. I believe it's
mhm.
mental
Mhm.
rehearsal. And
Oh yeah,
yeah, and I'd watched that. I'm like, all right, well, let me mentally rehearse. People saying no. Like, all
yes,
right, you know,
exactly.
boom.
Mhm.
All right, let me go through that. You know, I'll handle the objection. I'll follow the scripts my company gives me. I'll handle that objection though. It just And then, like, when doing the 3D mind, that on being told no, but knowing ahead of time how it works out.
Yes,
It's almost, you have that mindset of like, this is just a part of it. It's
yes.
just it's just a part of it. That's it. Like, it's just a part of it. But yeah, like, mentally rehearsing
Yeah.
is huge.
And it's really interesting what you're talking about saying, because you're using, excuse me, using everything we do with a script now and just adding in the skills. And I know you've also used it without a script and
Right.
made your own script with it.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Or a very loose structure. So, I
Yes.
mean, it's kind of nice. I mean, just talk about this, how because people wonder about the skills. It's like, yeah, if you have a script, great. If you don't have a script, great.
Mhm.
Right.
We can make them work either way.
Yep. Exactly.
It's funny.
Exactly.
I'm sitting here watching you. Okay, seeing you actually just conversationally use the objection destroyer as you talk about
Yes,
objections.
Yeah.
which is kind of awesome.
I mean, it's kind of a testament to, like, this is how it gets into your life.
Yeah.
This is
Right.
how it becomes part of who you are, and it really, just do what we say. I'm just saying. So okay, so but so is anything that you can think of that we haven't asked you about, that you just have something, other than how awesome we are, and
Uh,
know.
I think the like big takeaway with learning these skills is, one, the quality of your life goes up, right? Like, when you learn these skills, and two, like, the quality of interactions with other people and how you make other people feel goes up as well.
Nice.
Right. That is like that's so big. Like, having these quality interactions with people, making people feel generally good being around you,
Yep.
in a
Mhm.
genuine manner.
You enhance
Right.
their lives. I mean, it's like everybody wants to feel good. So many people go through the world not feeling good. Why not use something that can make them feel good, make the interactions that people
Right.
aren't looking forward to feel good and be a good experience? And it's like, and I wanted to go there with clients. I mean, I always look at it like, so many people look at clients as adversaries, right? And
Right.
clients are people you should be building a lifetime relationship with.
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
I mean, that I truly believe that the relationship building and using these skills to build that relationship by selling what you believe in, by being able to deal with them in a non adversarial way.
Right.
And so, what is your kind of, I mean, and being able to help your clients instead of, being able to help your clients, period. Yeah, right. So how is it that you view clients? I mean, how do you feel like you're using these skills with clients to help them out,
Yeah. So I kind of view clients as a friend, or maybe a
Okay.
friend like I
Mhm.
haven't met yet. So,
Right.
when I get in there, I genuinely just try to be a friend, right?
Mhm.
Not just be friendly, but like actually be a friend, learn more about them.
Mm-hmm.
And by using these skills, it kind of like accelerates that. Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
And through through the sales process or through my interactions with people, it just allows you to better get your viewpoint across,
Mm-hmm.
communicate, like
Okay.
share like what someone like maybe needs to hear. But
Yeah.
I really just try to go into it as like making a new friend in a genuine
Yep.
manner. That's the important thing though,
Mhm.
is like being genuine about your intentions
Yep.
with these
I
people.
think
That's
that's huge.
It is.
There's so many. I mean, so many people. I mean, we run into it where they look at what we do and they just think of it as like very, very manipulative and like
Mm-hmm.
controlling and
yeah.
and the people who use it and think about it in that way tend not to do very well.
Right.
But
Right.
the fact that you
Right.
talk about a genuine manner and genuine about your intentions,
Right.
and that this is a
Mm-hmm.
you're genuinely helping people out
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
and getting paid at the same time, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Pretty
I mean,
much.
I look at it as a freedom, and tell me if this is true for you. The freedom and the ability to be successful allows you to walk away from bad deals. It allows you to not be desperate and be able to do what's good for your clients because you don't need to sell to that client. Um, it allows you to look at what's right for them. And another thing I found that I don't think a lot of people think about is um, like we talk about, people talk in real estate, people talk about it all the time. We went to the perfect house, it's everything they wanted, it was a good price, and they hated the wallpaper in the bathroom, right? And I know they're walking away from something that's perfect for them over the wallpaper in the bathroom. And they do it
Mhm.
because, and for whatever reason. And it's like you can use it to help clients get what they really want and get past their own roadblocks, right?
Right.
Which is, I mean, fantastic because you're not going to see a client walking away from the perfect deal for them that gives them everything they want because some other salesperson lied to them and tried to sell, and told them they could do something they couldn't, which they can't really do. And not many salespeople do, some do, but but or walk away from something because of some blip, some small thing. And it's
Mhm.
kind of nice, I think, to be able to help your clients through things like that.
Well, you said something
Right.
earlier about that, about
Yeah.
getting them out of their own way.
Helping them
Yeah.
get out their own way. Yep,
Hmm.
exactly. That's because they might have these little roadblocks,
Yeah.
Mhm.
for whatever reason, and
Yep.
it's just being able to help them get out of their own way
Yep.
and see how what it is that they need and how we can be a fit if we are fit, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Exactly.
making helping them just get out of their own way, so they can get past that.
Yep. I mean, we feel the same way about our clients. It's like
Mhm.
if someone's not a fit, they're not a fit.
Yeah.
And it's all about helping them get where they want to go with, what we have that meshes.
Mhm.
All right.
So,
All right, man. Well, I mean, thanks a lot. Taking almost an hour of your time away. You
oh,
know.
believe me, we'll be after you again for another interview, Dylan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when we're in Florida, we're going to come say hey.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
That's what
come
I
on,
We're
come on.
planning a trip down there.
Yeah,
say.
cool. I've got a pool. I've got a pool. It's beautiful.
Damn.
Yeah, and a little guest suite. I'm in the guest suite right now. Yeah, so
Oh,
come on
you
up.
actually, oh, you have a place for us to stay?
Well, until the baby's born.
Oh, shoot.
Then I don't know if you want to be here.
Oh, I'm not good with babies. I don't know.
No.
I love toddlers, though. Toddlers are great.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for this.
Great.